A lot of times with leaders or financial CFOs or anyone, we use dashboards to analyze our data. I happen to just do an example of a dashboard for you. I got a sheet called dashboard, but I could be taking that payroll information and I could copy this range of cells. Actually, it doesn't even need to reside here. I could just have it on the dashboard, and it's analyzing information from a different location. So maybe I'm going to have payroll data over here, just so you can kind of see how I could do this. Then I could paste this information. It can automatically, and by the way, I'm going to paste that a little bit differently here. I'm actually going to do a paste link so that it automatically will update these to match whatever happens in the other worksheet. Now, of course, I want to have my columns spread out here a little bit, but just so you can see what it automatically did. I don't need those cells, but just so you can see what it automatically has done. It put these 0% in all of the blank cells, but I'll leave those for right now. And just so you can see, I could go back and make changes to these at any time because that's what it does. It automatically is linked back to those cells. But what about my pivot table that I created? I'm going to actually create a new pivot table and have it go here on the financial dashboard. And I could be using slicers and things. And by the way, I could just copy this pivot table just so you could see. I could cut it. So I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paste it on the dashboard because by default, it's automatically doing it on a new sheet, but I'm going to tell it I want it to be here instead now that I have this dashboard created. So now I have this pivot table right here. I could still be using the slicers, so let me go back and get the slicers. So I'm going to take both of these slicers and cut them, and I'm going to put them on the dashboard. So everything can actually be right here. So as I need to make changes to things, let me move this one right here. So that as I need to change the financial dashboard, I click on what it is I want to filter by, and it automatically shows me that information right here. Plus, I've got all my payroll data, so it's all this information that I need to analyze in one central location. Now, just so you know also, we could create a chart based on this data. So let's say that I want a chart based on this pivot table of this general ledger information, or whether it was payroll information or whatever financial information you're using. It can be a pivot chart. By going to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, when you are in a pivot table, you can simply go to the right, click Pivot Chart. Choose the type of chart you want, which, by the way, there's a lot of different options. There's funnel, there's waterfalls, there's box and whisker, which I have some of these described for you. There's histograms, which can include Paretos, sunburst, tree maps. There's pie charts, bar charts, whatever type of chart it is, it's going to actually show you an example of what it would look like on the right. I'm just going to choose column, make it nice and easy. I'm going to click OK. That is directly connected to the pivot table. Now I'm just going to move it to the right a little bit, because as I filter based on my slicers, it's going to update the pivot table and it's going to update the chart automatically. So every time I filter, whether it's based on either of my slicers, it will automatically update both my pivot table and my chart at the same time. So having a dashboard that is feeding from another worksheet can be an essential tool to use. Now, this is not very pretty to look at right now, but of course you can make them look pretty. And as a matter of fact, a lot of those templates that we have can do that for us. Those templates can really be used. And let me show you an example of one. So this is a great example. It's a little bit too much on font sizes and different things, but you can always change it. But this is a way that you could say whatever your revenue of your sales is, you could be using spark lines, which is taking data from a range of cells and giving you mini charts in a column. So it's showing you the trend of all of the numbers going across from January through December. So this is a great, easy to use dashboard look. Now, I could have charts and different things, pivot tables and slicers and different things going along with this. But here's a cost of sales example. Here's an example of the expenses. So just some easy on the eyes ways to have at a glance look at things. Now, of course, these sheets can be buttons on the dashboard that if I want to go see revenue sales, I could click on a button that takes me to the revenue sales. There's a lot of different ways these dashboards can be set up.